time, not space. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, hello, Erin.
Oh, hi.
I was just setting up some audio equipment and testing some things to see how it sounds. And earlier tonight, you were telling me that cornflakes with ice cubes in it are having a moment right now.
They are. It's true.
Okay, good. Next topic.
It's this whole Molly Boz thing, but
Oh, Molly Boz, the celebrity chef.
the celebrity chef.
And recent new mom.
And first pregnant person on a cereal box. Claim to fame.
Yeah. Like, she was on a Special K box, right? Or is it Wheaties that used to do all, like, the
Yeah. They did the
sports stars?
celebrities. I mean, yeah, sports celebrities.
Wait, has Special K ever had a person on their box, regardless of their pregnancy?
I feel like they have. I mean, they have that giant K, but I feel like maybe they do people sometimes.
Wait, so you think the K is a person? What do you think?
No, I'm saying you're right. I don't think they're the brand that has people. They usually have a giant K. But
Right.
I also feel like maybe they do people sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Molly Boz just had that controversial situation where her billboard for her lactation cookies was pulled from Times Square, which is outrageous. Like,
I saw that. It's some crazy sexism, misogyny.
I can't
Bullshit.
even believe it. Like, compared to the other billboards they were showing that were even up at the same time that her billboard got pulled.
Right. It's literally she just had cleavage, but there was like a reference to lactation, which
Yeah.
like makes men uncomfortable.
It's wild. But
I was fine with it.
she recommends ice in your cereal, specifically I think cornflakes, like with milk and ice. And I avoided it for a while. I thought I knew what that would be like, that experience.
Now, I have not tried this. I think that I know what it might be like. Am I wrong?
I think you're wrong because I assumed that I would know what that tastes like, but it's actually really good. And now I'm kind of addicted and having ice in my cornflakes.
Now, is it just a temperature thing, or is it kind of like when you let ice in a drink melt a little bit and then it's a little tastier later on? Please don't kick the table.
I think it's temperature. It's like just super like crisp and refreshing, and I don't know, cornflakes, blueberries,
Is this in
iced almond milk.
Is this in any season type of thing? Does it have to be hot outside?
Yeah, it's a summer thing, summer vibe. You're right.
It's a summer cornflake moment.
Yes, they're having a moment. But now I'm recommending ice and cereal all over town.
And it's officially summer now, so it's officially cornflake ice season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a post-solstice iced cornflake snack is what I'm recommending.
Should we only eat cold foods this summer?
Sure.
Iced cornflakes, gazpacho. That's all I got.
Martinis.
And martinis. Mescalinis.
Iced cereal is the martini of cereal.
I've always said that. Should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah. Good.
Is this the podcast? Is this our first episode?
It's possible.
Hmm.
We'll have to see. But yeah, I could talk about the podcast.
Sure, please. Introduce yourself, first of all.
Okay. My name's Erin. I live in Oregon. And I have 2 little kids. We have 2 little kids.
Don't bring me into this. I'm going to do my own introduction.
A 1.5-year-old and a 6-year-old. And I don't feel like I should talk about what I do for work because I think that will come up in the podcast.
Oh, because it's something I might not know about.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
It's true. I don't know what you do for a living.
Oh, yeah. Our daughter tonight said, "Your job is so confusing."
That's how I know she's getting smart.
And then, she said, like, how do you keep all of that in your head or something when she was looking at what I was looking at on my computer?
She has never said that to me about my job. It's very straightforward to her.
Yeah, so that's all about me. Erin from Oregon.
This is Garrett, also from Oregon. So I do an ASL.
Yeah. That really shows our age perfectly.
Yeah, there's no nuance to it.
You don't even have
ASL.
to do the A part of your ASL now that you are doing an ASL.
That's true. Well, I'm, 40-ish. I'm 41.
Mm-hmm.
Male, Oregon as well.
We live in the same state.
Man, imagine back in those chat days if you had saw that. Like, I'm just trying to picture the 41/M/Oregon. And
yeah, you'd be a creep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am a creep.
I'd log off.
Yeah. Everybody wanted to be 24 female Cali or whatever. Yes, no, I am a 41-year-old male non-creep, I'd like to think, living in Oregon. I'm married to Erin, which you know about. And
they know about me.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
And we have two wonderful, amazing, insane children that need to be stopped.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're the perfect mix of amazing human beings and also just maniacs. Yeah, and I think Erin brought up this idea to have a podcast where we talk to each other about certain things. I think you're going to talk about the format a little bit.
Yeah.
And it sounded like a great weekly thing to do. So I have a background in audio a little bit where I produce some music and things like that. Perhaps you heard it in the beginning of this episode. And
you're going to say, perhaps you've heard of me.
Perhaps you've heard of me.
Background in audio.
Also, this sounded like a fun little challenge to try to set up and see if I could record a podcast and have it sound decent.
Yeah. Well, the name of our podcast was supposed to be Fill Me In.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very sexual.
Yeah.
Or it's a sexual name. We're hoping that, creeps 41M organs might accidentally search it when they're looking for adult content and then just stumble onto it and fall in love with us. Not in love, but they might like the podcast. Sorry, go ahead.
You think that they're Googling Fill Me In to look for adult content?
Yes, I do. As a 41MOR, I know what these people search, Erin.
Turns out, Fill Me In is already a crossword podcast.
A non-sexual crossword podcast.
A sexual crossword podcast.
Oh my god, can you imagine if there was such a thing?
Maybe that's our the side project.
We should definitely pivot away from this podcast and just do sexual crosswords.
So we did pivot, and the name of our podcast is I Don't Know What You're Talking About. And probably the acronym is too long, so it's probably just I Don't Know What You're Talking About. And I think it's fine. People can say, did you listen to the I Don't Know What You're Talking About podcast?
Yeah, I think it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. But I was thinking today about how, ICYM.
You already messed it up.
Well, no, I'm not talking
about... Oh, this is a different acronym. Okay, sorry.
ICYMI or IDGAF. If those can be acronyms, we can.
Wait.
I don't
know about... I know about I don't give a fuck.
In case you missed it.
I was going to try to guess what it was, honey.
Oh. You were going to acronym bust?
I count years, minutes, indecisively. I could yearn momentarily. I don't know what it stands for.
In case you missed it.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. And I think people don't say that acronym out loud, but it's like...
Yeah, people don't.
But it's used in posts or emails, and you do know what it... I feel like even you would know what that means if you saw it.
Yeah, 41MOR.
Yeah. But if those can be acronyms, maybe someday we can too. I realize we're only 2 more letters than either of those.
Yeah, what's the longest acronym that's commonly used?
Well, probably some acronym that's turned into a word now, like snafu or something.
It's like 5 letters.
So are we. No, we're not. We're 7. But anyways, part of this concept is kind of just like a fun couples thing. What we were thinking about is, like if you think about a Venn diagram.
I'm familiar.
That overlapping space.
So when you say Venn diagram, are you picturing 2 circles with a little bit of overlap in the middle?
Yes.
Okay, the classic Venn diagram.
Yeah. The cliche, the trite.
Right,
Venn
it's
diagram.
pretty well trod, pretty
Predictable.
exactly.
Yeah,
I just go in on that because there's a lot of different Venn diagrams that can have a lot of different relationships, but for some reason, whenever you say Venn diagram, everybody pictures the 2 circles with the overlap in the middle, but there's tons of different Venn diagrams that have tons of different relationships. You can have 2 circles that don't touch at all, and that's still a Venn diagram.
Well, I think that's a good point because the point of this podcast is that our Venns don't overlap into one circle.
Oh yeah, you and I
Obviously. Yeah,
don't share everything with each other.
correct.
And what do you mean correct?
So, like the point of the podcast, which I haven't said yet, so no one knows what
I'm ready for this
what
big
we're talking
reveal.
about, is those unoverlapping spaces in that cliche Venn diagram.
Oh, the things that I know about that you don't,
Mhm.
and the things that you know about that I don't,
Mhm, mhm.
and not specifically the things that we both know about.
Yeah, we'll avoid those.
And we probably shouldn't talk about the things that neither of us know about.
Is that outside of the negative
Exactly. That's
space?
part of the Venn diagram as well, that it's like,
Mhm.
people don't realize that either, that the space outside is also part of the Venn diagram.
Interesting.
So proper Venn diagrams have a rectangle around them to show the universal space set.
Like they're on a piece of paper.
Sure.
But the idea is that we will, the original idea was that we would fill each other in on these things in this part of the...
I think we can still say fill each other in, even if it's not the title of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm assuming they didn't trademark that term.
I'll sue them. I know a lawyer. We know a lawyer. She's in the middle of our Venn diagram.
We can't talk about it.
And we're not going to talk about her on this podcast. A shout out to our
shout
lawyer
out.
friend.
Shout out.
Happy birthday.
We're also going to, once we get established and get a nice flow of our
Cash.
structure.
Oh, sorry.
No, just a nice structure and flow. We're hoping to have guests that come and fill us in on things that they know about that are in their part of their Venn diagrams that don't overlap with us. And we can ask questions, understand the context, the why, just get into these topics that we
I think
don't know about.
that part sounds super exciting to
Mhm.
me, that have people on that explain things to us.
Yeah, it sounds fun. I already can think of lots of friends and people we know that have fun topics they could bring.
Absolutely.
But for you and I, it doesn't have to be, structure-wise. It's not like we have to bring something each week that we're the expert on, but it could be something we heard about on a podcast or we were reading about.
Or a moment in internet culture, or
Yeah, pop culture moments, something, that we're learning more about, something we heard about that we want to explore. So we could each bring a few topics to explain to the other person.
yeah, I feel like you definitely have a lot more things up your sleeve when it comes to a lot of health issues, skin things. I don't know, I'm trying to say girl thing.
Google topic.
I also feel like I may be too much of a blabbermouth, that I always talk about things with you very openly.
Oh yeah, that's the funny part of this is we keep like starting to tell each other something and then we're like, don't talk about that. It sounds interesting.
Save it for the pod.
So we're not going to be able to talk to each other anymore.
Exactly. This is the only time we're going to connect is when it's public on the internet.
Well, we can talk about boring things to each other. Nothing interesting.
Oh, good.
But
Are there any topics that are off limits? Is this an NC-17 podcast?
I think it's pretty open. I mean, we're all adults.
We are. I'm going to make sure this gets posted with the little E next to it, like explicit content, so no kids listen to this.
Yeah.
Although our daughter already expressed interest in having a sub podcast where she
that was so cute.
Interviews our son, who's 1.5 and says 20 words.
We asked her what the podcast would be about, and she said, "Oh, just predictions." And then she explained she would interview the baby about questions that she knows the answer to. What was her example?
I don't remember.
How planets are formed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I asked her how planets were formed, and she had a really good answer. I was like, oh, I had not really thought about that.
She was like, stars and stardust and gas formed together in the galaxy. We were like, okay.
And she constantly impresses me with what she knows and doesn't know.
But that's her concept, that she'll ask her 1.5-year-old brother questions like how planets are formed, and that he'll just say a word, and that it will be funny.
I mean,
it's brilliant.
She's not wrong. Yeah. Now, we'll definitely have to have her on as a guest. There's a lot of things that she could explain to us.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
I mean, she's navigating the public school system. She just finished her first year of kindergarten, and every day I have questions about what the process is of her going to school and stuff like that. And it's interesting to hear her as an expert of being in kindergarten about how it works. And yeah, it's interesting. Yes.
We're drinking something fun.
Oh, yeah.
Because we got a new vermouth recommendations. Spanish vermouth called Manuel Acha.
They're a sponsor of the show, so
go check them out. Use our code.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. 10.
Type in
10% off.
IDKWYAB. No, wait, did I do it right?
No, I don't think so.
No, there's a T in there.
Yeah.
IDKWYTA.
Yeah. So it's like IDK Whita.
Whita.
IDK Whita.
That's going to catch on. Did you listen to the new IDK Whita?
But yeah, we're drinking mezcal with our vermouth. Like mezcal martinis. It's pretty tasty.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I feel like I slept on mezcal for a lot of my life, and I like it in a lot of situations.
Yeah. I mean, even this vermouth is a topic I would want to bring to an episode, because there's just like these things, I learned about this vermouth from a certain person's Substack, and
we definitely gonna have to do an episode on Substack.
Yeah.
Because sounds like a potato dish.
Yeah, it sounds delicious. Also, it sounds pretty douchey to say it out loud.
Substack?
Yeah. I was reading someone's Substack. I mean, it sounds like I think I'm in Gen Z or something.
It must be hard for new platforms, though, to come up with names, because everything is taken.
Yeah.
Like Fill Me In, that fucking crossword.
I mean, we shouldn't talk, like, maybe we'll become friends with them.
Oh my god, do a collab?
Yeah. But I learned about this vermouth from that Substack, and, maybe that'll be one of my topics sometime.
Sure. Yeah, you can
not
explain
just
vermouth
the vermouth, but I could research vermouth. become a vermouth expert.
Yeah, is it like, does it come from a bush or a tree or... Don't try to think of an answer now. It's for a future episode.
Okay. Noted. I put it on my research list. But I think vermouth's just wine.
Made from grapes?
I'm not sure.
This is going to be me on the podcast mostly. I'm going to be like, I learned about this thing. And you're going to be like, cool, what is it? How does it come to be? And I'm going to be like, I don't know.
One question in.
That's all I just read the headline, honey.
What else? Is that enough for our first episode? Did we get people hooked?
I'm definitely intrigued. I think having guests on sounds super fun. We're gonna need a third microphone, so I'm working on that.
Oh yeah, you're out on the Facebook Marketplace.
Oh man, I'm in these streets.
Yeah. Not having much luck.
A lot of people not responding. Like,
yeah,
got posted
rough
one
world out there.
I'm new to this world. I feel like you're more steeped in Facebook Marketplace.
I got kind of burnt out because I can't even like give away something on Facebook Marketplace because of all the scams.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Even trying to give away a couch, I dealt with like 4 different people that were just scamming me, and I'm like, "What's the scam? It's free."
Yes, robot, come get my couch from me, please.
So weird.
Yeah. No, I hate that when you post something for free and there's a billion questions about the quality and like the dimensions, and you're like, take it or leave it. This is a free thing.
Yeah. I feel you. You know, this isn't my first podcast.
Oh, that's right. I was going to bring that up, that you've podcasted before.
I have.
What was that like? Oh, wait, I was there. I was part of it.
Yeah, I got pretty famous.
That's hilarious because these podcasts never made it to the internet. I think we recorded like 10 episodes, and I'll let you explain the concept, but they all lived on my phone, and I recently found them. I think I could actually.
That's sad because they're funny.
They're very funny.
Yeah. I mean, that's because maybe we were in our late 20s and pretty drunk during them. It was called Two Drunk Girls Hiking with my friend Jenny. Oh, maybe I'm not supposed to say her name because we used aliases.
It's fine. I cleared it.
Okay. But it was a fun podcast. We had guests that it was usually, hiking is a strong term. It was usually a walk while camping.
Yes.
For a walk while at a party or something. We would do a neighborhood walk or a nature night walk, and we had quite a few, like, what are they called? Like the standing agenda items from my work, right? What's that called in the podcast world?
Yeah, you had structure. You had routine. Like,
yeah.
There was the what's in my cup where Robbie and I would mix drinks for you guys, and then you guys would have to guess what was in the drink. Mm-hmm. I famously got in trouble for putting beef jerky into a cocktail. I think a Slim Jim or something.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. But yeah, the general thing was that you guys were just drunk and talking about things, and it was fun.
Yeah, but we did have structure. We had guests.
Oh yeah, my favorite.
Got exercise while we were podcasting, and we were pretty funny.
One of my favorite parts was there was a guest that would talk to everybody, but then there was also a silent guest where someone would come with us, a fourth person.
On everyone, right?
Yeah, and they weren't allowed to talk at all.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, we should we could do a little clip show on this podcast.
Yes, I would love to pour through hours of audio and find the highlights from that.
Montage.
That's probably for the best. I feel like I was also a little bit tipsy on those podcasts and didn't come off well in certain parts. So it would be good to just grab the highlights where everybody sounds great.
I mean, maybe we should do that with this podcast too.
No, we're not editing this.
Yeah, fair.
But I'm excited about the proposition of putting this out because I feel like all the time Erin's trying to explain things to me that she learns about.
It's true.
And now we have a formal way to do that. Yeah. Are there any new girls' clothing terms that I should know about? Or should we save it for an episode?
We should save it, but that's a good question. I feel like there was like 5 or 6 years ago that there was like a lot of new terms, and you kind of like prided yourself on knowing all of the girl clothing names.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of sisters, and even in middle school, somebody challenged all the boys in the class to know what a certain item was, and I was like, it's a fucking barrette. And they were like, how do you know that word? And I was like, I know, I have a lot of sisters. I know about girl stuff. And it's only continued. I know about high-low skirts, bodycon dresses.
Oh, yeah. That just came up recently.
All the different types of skirts. Pencils, maxis, minis.
Nice job.
There's other ones. I'm
First of all, congrats.
Thank you. Practicing. That was like a category in Jeopardy. I was on. It was just like,
Yeah, that'd be your thing. Speaking of girl topics, I am listening to a new podcast
and
called Poog.
Poog?
Yeah. It's Goop backwards.
Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yes.
Wait, what does Goop stand for?
I think it's like,
Is it an acronym?
maybe, but I feel like it's like her, like Gwyneth Paltrow. It's like a...
Yeah, but what was not Geep or
Maybe
Gap
because
or
it's
Gup?
about all the like goop that she puts on her body.
Oh, it's about that.
I mean, it's not just about that, but
Does she put a lot of goop on her body?
I mean, for sure.
I can see her being past the point of goops at this point.
Yeah. I mean, she probably puts ultrasound gel and uses microcurrent devices, which could be a topic on this podcast that I'll explain to you.
And I won't ask questions right now.
Because that's a hot new thing. But I don't know why it's called that. I feel like it's like a nickname for her. We should Google it.
I have an internet device.
Okay.
The article that I'm looking at right now is What is Goop? Why everyone hates Gwyneth Paltrow's company.
Yeah.
That's from 2021. But I still have not found hard evidence as to why it's 2 O's in the middle. Do you think she has 2 middle names that start with O?
Yeah. It's her initials.
Gwyneth, Oswald, Onyx, Paltrow.
I think that's it for sure. Well, should we wrap up this first episode?
Sure. How are we going to end every episode?
I have no idea.
I wonder if we can have a phrase that we say at the end of every episode, or if we quiz each other on something we learned.
Okay.
All right, Erin, your quiz is, what does Goop stand for?
Gwyneth, Oswald, Onyx, Paltrow.
Very good. Locked in. And what does Poog stand for?
That's my quiz to you.
Do you think Gwyneth is going to...
Sue?
Sue, exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, doesn't anybody call her Gwen?
You do. I mean, I don't think they're like that directly. They're not like saying they're like talking about Goop. I think they're just like flipped the name to make it like it's like a fun riff off of that whole culture. I think you can. I don't think you can sue for doing the backwards name of something. What if someone did the backwards name of this podcast?
I don't even know what that would be.
About. Yeah.
Oh, very good. You got the last word.
Yeah, that's as far as I got.
I would sue if somebody said the crazy backwards name of this.
Well, that's why we didn't do Fill Me In. We were worried we'd be sued.
In Me Phil? That's an easy backwards.
Yeah. We should do that. That's a good name. Okay.
All right, honey. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for meeting me here at the kitchen table once again.
Yeah, we'll see everyone on our first real episode where we bring some topics to fill each other in on, and we can say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we're going to work that in for sure. And I'll have notes and everything. I'm going to be profesh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you ever transcended space and time?
Yes. No. Time, not space. No, I don't know what you're talking about.